we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It is that time once again. It is Season 4.5's tier list of Marvel Rivals for the lower ranks. Now, when I did this for Season 4, I said it was from Bronze up until Diamond. At that point in time, I didn't realise how much of the player base was so far down. I've only just got back into Platinum at the start of Season 4.5, and it tells me I'm now in the top 12%. So, even though the premise of this video is going to be absolutely identical to my Season 4 tier list, I am specifying that these rankings are purely from Bronze up until Gold. I'm going in with the same mindset that I did for Bronze to Diamond last time, but I'm just now saying that this is purely for Bronze up until Gold. These are the rankings I have for characters for people that are new to the game who are trying to get out of the lower ranks, because they are vastly different to the higher ranks. People have different skill sets, different ways of using these characters at lower ranks, so the rankings are going to be widely different for the vast majority of these characters in these lower ranks. And if these guides help you in determining who you think you should be using for these lower ranks, then let me know by dropping a like on the video. And of course, any of you who have any disagreements with any of my characters, please do let me know down in the comments section below. Right, we're just going to get straight into this. I actually have my Season 4 tier list on my other screen here, so I can tell you how I think some of these characters have moved around at the start of Season 4.5. But 3 characters that I am going to stick straight back in the S tier straight away. We've even got it lined up in order in terms of tanks, then DPS, and then support. But I'm just going to put a set of 3 straight in the F tier, completely off the rip, and that is the entirety of the Arcane Order team-up. Magic, Doctor Strange, and Scarlet Witch instantly all go in the S tier in lower ranks. If you've got people that can play all 3 of these characters, you'll basically win every single lobby in the lower ranks. Magic, I still think, although I don't think she's as good, I've said Magic was the best character alongside Thor in Season 4. I don't think she's as good in Season 4.5, but she still absolutely decimates the backline. Probably better than any other character can, due to her ability to just constantly sustain her life. Doctor Strange, in my opinion, is the best tank in the game right now. He's got the 800 health shield. He's got the best move in the entire game, which is, of course, the portal. And he's never banned in gold, so you can just always have that portal available to you. And Scarlet Witch is one of the strongest DPSs in the game, certainly in lower ranks. People don't know how to deal with her. It's very rare that her ult gets stopped in lower ranks, and she's one of the best counter dives in the game right now. We're going to touch on a couple of things that are affecting dive at the moment in terms of the new updates, but Scarlet Witch is still one of the best counters to dive, because she'll just constantly keep that attack moving on them, keep pushing them down, and eventually she will come out on top. And if you put the Doctor Strange team up on top of these 2 characters in terms of Magic and Scarlet Witch, they're going to absolutely decimate everything in sight. So I just think right now these 3 are... It's by far the strongest team up in the entire game, certainly in terms of the lower ranks. So I just thought I'd put them out there straight away. And to be honest, we're going to struggle to separate these 3 at the actual top of the tier list throughout the entirety of this video. So I thought that I would just get all 3 of them in. They were S tier before. If anything, they're even stronger now, even though I think Magic is probably a little bit less. But overall, these 3 guaranteed S tier for the lower ranks at the start of Season 4.5. Now to the main list as a whole, and we're starting off with a massive, massive upgrade to Angela. Last time I put Angela down in D tier, I'm putting her all the way up into A tier. And the reason I'm doing that is because now people have started to get used to knowing her moveset, knowing when to pick, knowing when to drop to the ground, knowing when to jump back up, knowing when to use her ult, making you full use of the character as a whole. She's a real problem, and people in lower ranks don't really know the majority of the counters to her. The best support to counter her is Invisible Woman with a little bit of help from Jeff. Probably the best DPS to stop her is Iron Fist, but not many people play Iron Fist in the lower ranks. The Namor nerf has been massively beneficial to Angela as well. There's no Gamma Squid constantly buzzing you as you're going around. I just think the character as a whole is really, really strong and really, really hard to kill. And the reason I've put her in A tier is because you have to change your entire team composition to counter Angela if you don't have those counters in your team from the get-go. And as far as I'm concerned, if you have to change your team to suit a certain character that's attacking you, that character should minimum be in A tier. Again, it's why Magic stays in S tier. Magic might not be as good as she was in Season 4, but you still have to change basically your entire team composition to deal with Magic. So that's why she stays in S tier. And that's why Angela has to go in A tier. If you just stay as you are, Angela's going to dominate you. So for me, Angela is minimum A tier. I don't think she's strong enough to go into the S tier, but Angela is a really, really solid pick right now at the start of Season 4.5. Bruce Banner, unfortunately for me, is now going to have to drop down. I had him in A tier last time. He was the Gamma Squid team-up, and of course he still has the Black Panther team-up. But I just think, again, people's knowledge of how to make really good use of Hulk is a bit weak right now. I'm still going to put him in B tier because he has a lot of value to him. He's got the ult cancelling. He's got the group bubbling. He can jump in and out. You can sort of use him as a dive whilst also using him as a counter dive all at once. He's a decent point presence. A lot of people will run Doctor Strange or Emma or Magneto in the lower ranks, and you can obviously punch through their defensive shields. So there is still value in playing Hulk, but Hulk was very rarely banned in the lower ranks anyway. So it's not like in the higher ranks where Hulk is now suddenly much better because he's no longer getting banned. He still is just sort of there, but people aren't really picking him. You used to pick him to get the Gamma Squid. Now there isn't really much value in picking him. I hope we'll see a little bit more of an increase from him. I'd love to see him get a little bit of a buff for season 5, now that we know he's not got that Gamma team up. I still use him occasionally, but for me, he's not as strong as other heroes. Captain America, last time I put him in B tier. I'm going to keep him in B tier. I'm going to put him a little bit ahead of Hulk because I still think the value of his diving ability is still better than what Hulk's currently offering, and obviously Captain America's ult is really, really strong in regards to the sustain, the stalling on the point, the ability to keep pressure on backline. You can use it as defensive ult. There's a lot of value still in Captain America. The only reason I'm going to put him in B tier is I just think Angela is a better version of Captain America. Completely different sorts of skill sets, but the actual ambition and the aim of the character is exactly the same. I just think Angela's ability to constantly fly away just makes her a better pick than Captain America right now. They have basically the exact same counters. So for me, someone with the permanent ability to fly and do the little quick jab damage and the ability to steal someone away and push them off the map, I just think Angela is a better option than Captain America right now. If you can't use Angela and you're in a Captain America main, absolutely you're going to do better as Captain America than you would as Angela. But overall, I think Angela is a bigger problem than Captain America right now. Emma Frost, unsurprisingly, she's still going in the S tier. I'd probably say she's better than Scarlet Witch, but she's still not as good as Doctor Strange. Very, very strong character, the most versatile tank in the entire game. She does absolutely everything. She's got one of the best ults in the game. She's got the best, in my opinion, the single best moveset in the entire game. Until they start nerfing her damage, she's never leaving that S tier. And I don't think I need to say too more about that. It's Emma Frost. And of course, in lower ranks, you don't get to ban characters until you get into gold. And even when you are in gold, nobody bans Emma Frost because they're all banning the dive characters. So she's just going to dominate lobbies when she's in them. Emma Frost, absolutely still in the S tier. Groot. I'm tempted to move Groot up a little bit. Last time I put him in C tier. And I'm kind of tempted to put him up to B tier. I've seen a couple more better Groots recently, but that might just be because I've got to the higher end of gold and started getting into platinum. And obviously, this list is for just bronze up until gold. So, unfortunately, I am still going to put him down in C tier. And it's just for all the same reasons I had before. The amount of people that play DPS in the lower ranks is just so different to the higher ranks. Most games you will play, it's 1 or 2 supports. It's 1 tank and it's 3 DPS. And if you're seeing people that are using Punisher and Squirrel Girl and Starlord and all of these ranged characters, it's what the vast majority of DPS players do. Their vast majority are playing ranged characters. What happens is your Groot walls just get absolutely deleted. It doesn't matter if it's your own team deleting them or the enemy team deleting them. If you're in a lobby where there are 6 DPS and you're Groot, your walls aren't lasting more than 2 seconds. So he has good ult opportunity, but I just still think it's a real struggle for him. I don't think he's a bad character. I think if you've got the right team composition, if you're playing to Groot's strengths, you're going to do really, really well. But if you're solo queuing and you just auto-lock in Groot, it's probably not going to go very well for you. So for me, Groot stays in the C tier. Next up, Magneto, who last time I actually put him in B tier. I now recognise that was maybe a little bit of a mistake. He's still ridiculously strong. I don't think he's S tier, but I still think he's A tier. I probably think he's a little bit better than Angela. Obviously, he's got the slam dunk. He's another very versatile character, can protect your dive. With the amount of dive characters that are now very popular again, It gives Magneto that little bit more value in that he can bubble that dive character as they're trying to escape. He's still got his shield, he's got good range, he's got good recharge in terms of his other abilities, his CC abilities. Just an all-round really, really strong character, and the ability to counter so many different ults makes him such a viable pick. Again, still has the team up with Emma, the Shadow Clone Jutsu, very, very useful for certain situations, whether you want to double the damage or you want to escape certain situations as well. Really strong character, Magneto, for me, still stays now up into the A tier. Peni Parker, she is the low-rank queen. She is obviously still going to stay in the S tier. I'm not going to put her as high as these four characters because Peni is still a situational character. She is mainly used for domination and for defense. There are a few offensive Pennies. I've tried offensive Peni on a few occasions. There are certain maps where offensive Peni is really, really good. But the vast majority of the time, Peni is going to be on defense and on domination. But due to the Rocket buff, Rocket is getting picked a lot more, so she is getting more value. But ultimately, I still don't think she's got the overall strength of picking Emma or picking Strange, who is a permanent pick for every single map and every single situation. Still ridiculously strong. Still the highest win rate of any tank in the lower ranks. So Peni Parker obviously stays in the S tier. But yeah, no, not really too much more to say about that. Thing, I'm going to keep Thing in the C tier, and it is purely, again, due to the amount of dive characters that we currently have. I can't put him above Groot, because Groot is the hardest counter to the Thing. I mean, there's so many counters to Thing, it has to be said. But I still think there is some value in picking Thing. It's just not for offensive plays. If you run in with Thing, you are dead. Just don't do it. If you're picking the Thing, the only reason you are doing it is because there's a Black Panther, there's a Magic, there's a Daredevil, there's a Spiderman, and your job is to punch the floor. So just for that brief moment, you have the chance to deal with that character. But that's his only use. Yes, you can get some sustain if you're maybe playing triple support with like Jeff and Rocket, where you've permanently got heals on Thing. But if you have to have permanent heals on a character, then they're not as good an option as all of the other tanks in the game. So for me, Thing, he has his moments, but right now he's still not in a really good spot. And I also don't really know how you can buff him, because it's not like Hulk. Hulk has the ability to jump in and out. He has the bubble. And yeah, it's just, if you're going to go Thing, you should probably just go Hulk. Like, there are other options to dealing with dive that are not Thing. There are other options for being aggressive with a punchy character that's not Thing. And it's a shame for him because he was so good a couple of seasons ago. But right now, he's still not in a good place. And I can't put him any higher than C tier. Thor, still S tier for me. I had him as the top tank last time around. I think people have started to figure him out a little bit more. But I still think he's ridiculously strong. Do I think he's better than Emma? No. And the reason for that is because I picked these two before I picked Thor. At the start of Season 4, I was picking Thor above any other tank. Right now, I'm still picking Strange or Emma above Thor. I still think Thor is an S-tier character. The same thing I said before, if you've got a Jeff stream behind you and you're running Thor and you're just constantly spamming damage, you are going to get so much value. He is the DPS with 600 health. He is an absolute machine when it matters. But again, with the amount of DPS in the game right now, Thor can be taken down quickly. But again, it's not like Hulk, it's not like Thing. He's got so much more sustain, he's got so much more presence, he does so much more damage. His ult is absolutely devastating. He's in a really, really good spot. I'd still pick Strange and Emma above him, but what's interesting is I do think Thor is then a very good counter to other people running Emma and Strange as well, due to the amount of damage he puts out. It really is a bit of a rock, paper, scissors between these three, but all three are very, very valid choices right now. Finally, in terms of tanking, we then have Venom. And for Venom, I'm definitely moving him up because his ult change has made him even more viable. I know he is the best tank in the game in the high ranks, but in lower ranks, he's not quite as good. I'm going to put him in A tier. I'm going to put him in the top of the A tier right now. Last season, I put him in B tier, but yeah, this change, this buff to him has made him so much stronger. People still don't know how to use him properly. You don't really see Venoms that get a lot of damage in the lower ranks. I do know why now, because it's to do with the fact that his tentacles go for his crosshair rather than right in front of him, so that's why a lot of people do miss their damage with him. I think his skill set is very, very hard. People don't know to run up walls and then dive in. People don't use the complicated swing or the Venom swing. They always use easy swing. So there are things with Venom in the lower ranks which just make him a little bit less valuable than in the higher ranks, but he's certainly much stronger after the ult buff, the reduced healing basically means a Venom ult can wipe your entire team, even in the lower ranks. So he's definitely stronger. I still don't think he's as good as the other people I've put in the S tier, but Venom right now, very, very strong. And as you can see, tanking right now feels really, really good. 4 tanks in S tier, 3 tanks in A tier, 2 in B, and 2 in C. On to the DPS, the what they call the duelists of Marvel Rivals for Season 4.5. And we're starting off with Black Panther, who once again has to go in the S tier. Basically for the exact same reasons he was in the S tier last time. And that is because the Smurfs. Like, if it wasn't for Smurfs, Black Panther would probably be in B or C tier because of how difficult he is to use. But unfortunately, there are still so many Smurfs ruining the lower ranks that I have to put him in S tier. Like, if you're in gold and you've unlocked the ability to ban characters and you're not banning Black Panther, you just know you're going to get one of those Black Panthers that is just going to absolutely wipe your entire team. It's really unfortunate and it's really annoying, but I have to put him in S tier for that. I'm not going to sit here and say pick Black Panther because he's one of the best characters in the lower ranks. Because if you're picking him up for the first time, you're going to be absolutely awful. Like, if this was a world where Smurfs did not exist, I'd probably have him in B or C tier. But he is ridiculously good. You do come across so many Smurfs. I have to put him in S tier as that constant warning that you need to ban Black Panther. I still don't think he's as strong as the 4 I've put above him, but he's still an absolute menace. And unfortunately, do I put him above Magic? No, I don't. I still think Magic is the biggest threat in the game, even though I don't think she's as strong as before. But yeah, Black Panther definitely number 2 behind her as things stand. Blade, last time I put Blade in C tier. This time I'm going to put Blade in B tier. I'm actually going to put him above Captain America and Hulk if it's going to let me. I think Blade is in a little bit of a better place right now. I think, again, with the amount of different people that are trying him out, I think a lot of the high-end streamers are recommending people use Blade at the moment, and that has sort of brought more Blades into games. I'm certainly seeing a lot more Blades in games. His ult is really, really good. His ability to sustain himself with the block and the lifesteal is really, really good. I still don't think he's doing enough damage output compared to certain other characters in the sort of lower ranks meta, but I think Blade is certainly a much better pick than he was in Season 4. He's definitely doing more damage. I'm definitely seeing a lot more of him, but I don't think you really have to change your team composition to deal with him. So that's why I can't put him any higher than B tier. All of the characters I put in S and A tier are just lobby dominating characters. I don't think Blade is that yet, but he has the potential to get even better. Black Widow, unfortunately, I think is going to be the only character in this entire video I put in D tier. Last time I put her in F tier. I don't think there is an F tier realistically anymore. I still think she's viable at times. Certain maps where you've got long corridors, you can still get some value out of her, but until they add the ability to one-shot headshot, she's never leaving D tier. I know you can do the Mantis team up, but it's not something that happens in the lower ranks. You don't see a Black Widow running lobbies unless on 1 in 1,000 chance, but again, it's normally a Smurf account. You never see a Lord Black Widow in the lower ranks. It just doesn't happen. So for me, she has to stay down there. I know why they're not going to give her the one-shot headshot, because it would make her S++ in the higher ranks because of how accurate people are. But if you want her to be usable in the lower ranks, you have to give her that ability. So unfortunately, she is going to stay in the D tier. Daredevil, the new character. Now, this is a really interesting one. I have dubbed him Dive for Noobs because of the amount of button mashing you can do with him and still be effective, the amount of damage output that he does, how good his ult is. He absolutely categorically has to go into the S tier straight away. And I'm actually going to put him above Black Panther. I'm even going to put him above Thor. The reason for that is obviously, again, a really good Black Panther is still going to decimate your entire lobby. But I genuinely think right here, right now, anyone could play Daredevil and get good value out of him. As long as you do the actual diving. Because he's just a joke. Like I said, it's just button mashing. If you actually work out the combos, he's ridiculously devastating. But I've never played dive before. And I've played 3 games as Daredevil. I've won all 3. And I've got MVP in 2 of them. I can't play dive. But this character is just literally dive for noobs. He is so fun to use. Just dive in, dash, bash, right button combo, or whatever it is on mouse and keyboard, just spam the fury moves. You do so much damage and it's so much fun. Yes, you're also going to die a lot, but from my experience, Daredevil will kill at least 1 or 2 characters per death. And if you're coming out of a game where you're like 25 for 12 as Daredevil, chances are you've probably won the game. Unless there's a Daredevil on the other team that's gone like 30 for 2. But he's so fun. He's so good. I'd thoroughly recommend trying him out. If you're someone who's always wanted to be a dive player, but has never had the skill set to play Magic or Spiderman or Black Panther, please, I implore you, give Daredevil a go. He's really fun right now. And I think he's been a really good addition to the game. Hawkeye. Now, last time I put Hawkeye in F tier because I thought it was completely unusable. In my opinion, that's a mistake. I actually think he is better than Black Widow. And the reason I'm going to put him at the bottom of C tier rather than the top of D tier is because he still has an ult that does real good damage, especially in lower ranks. People are just so brain dead in the lower ranks that they're not going to run away. You hear, woo, I never miss. And people just keep on fighting. They don't run behind corners, or they don't have the awareness to recognise that the moment you hear the woo, you've got to move. Because if you haven't, he's already got one on you. And you just see some Hawkeyes in lower ranks will just go ping, 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 ping. And they'll wipe half the team. Problem is, that's the only value he has. Like, he is an ult waiting to happen. And you're still going to lose the vast majority of your games when you've got a Hawkeye on your team. That's why he's bottom of C tier. But he's still usable. He still has his moments. I just don't think they're that often. So, yeah, decent character, but still needs a little bit of a buff if he's going to get back into the top ends of the lower ranks. Hela. On to the proper hit scan characters now. Hela, I am going to put up into A tier. I'm going to put her above Angela, below Magneto and Venom. Last time I put her in B tier, the reason she goes up into A tier now is because of the new team up with Namor. Really strong. It's obviously a real good buff for Namor, I think, in terms of the different moves he can do now. And it just makes Hela more of a viable pick. People are now actively trying to use Hela at the lower ranks because they still want their Namors on their team. And Hela does a lot of damage. Like, there's a reason why she's always been S tier or A tier in the higher ranks. It's because of the amount of damage that Hela can do. She also has a very strong ult, which in lower ranks people don't deal with. And, like, you know, unless someone knows to fly up with Strange and block it, or unless people actually focus on shooting up. Imagine that, folks. Someone shooting up in the lower ranks. That doesn't happen. So normally Hela gets her entire ult off in the lower ranks. With the Namor team up, she's definitely the most viable hit scan character in the lower ranks. So she has to go in A tier. I'm not going to say you have to adjust your entire team if there's a Hela on your team, on the opposing team. But she's really strong right now. The team up with Namor has made a massive difference to her. So she absolutely has to go in the A tier. Human Torch. I'm going to put the Human Torch in C tier. I'm going to put him above Thing but below Groot. 1, you just don't see them at the lower ranks. 2, people just don't know how to use him at the lower ranks. And right now, I know he's been nerfed into the ground. I just don't know what you're getting out of a Human Torch. Again, the only reason he's probably in C tier above D tier is his ult. The fact that you can still do the constant tornadoes. He has got the team up with Spiderman as well. And Spiderman is obviously a very strong character in the lower ranks. Outside of that, there really isn't much value in Human Torch. Even his, like, fire prison thing that he does. People can just tank it now. There are so many strong healers in the game that essentially all that Fire Prism now does is just spam ult charge for the healers. It's really not an issue right now. There is a part of me very tempted to put Torch in D tier for lower ranks, but I still have to put him in C tier because he does have his moments. He can dive when you've got a good Human Torch on the other team. But other than that, really not happening for Human Torch right now. A character where it is happening for you right now is Mr. Iron Fist. Last time I put him in D tier because I thought he was absolutely tragic. After the current changes, I'm going to put him up into B tier and I'm going to put him above Blade. I would put him in A tier, but the only reason I'm not is the same reason why I mentioned about Groot being in C tier. Most games you play from bronze until gold, there's only one tank on the opposition team. So as an Iron Fist player who would want to be fighting against 3 or, well, there's not going to ever be 4 tanks, but you want to be fighting against 2 or 3 tanks to get the maximum value out of his new percentage changes, it just doesn't happen in the lower ranks. he definitely has that potential. If you come up against a team that's running Emma, Strange, Hulk, you know, like the big, bulky Thor, things like that, you're going to do so much as Iron Fist. And if the other team's running Angela, you just switch to Iron Fist. Like, even someone who doesn't play Iron Fist, if they're running Angela and Angela's causing problems, just pick Iron Fist and just focus on Angela, and Angela will be gone within the first minute of you picking Iron Fist. He's a really solid pick again right now. I love the amount of damage he's doing to tanks. It's just a shame that at lower ranks you don't have the opportunity to use him as much as you would probably like to. Iron Man, still S tier, no doubt about that. I'm not going to put him as high as Scarlet Witch. I'm going to put him below Peni, even though he is the best counter to Peni at this point in time. But Iron Man still runs lobbies. Again, people don't look up. He does splash damage. His budge is ridiculous. His ult is still absolutely ridiculous. Like, yes, you should use Iron Man ults to counter the opposition ults, but you still see Iron Mans get 3 or 4 kills in the lower ranks just by firing at any random point in time. He is the best flyer in the lower ranks, in my opinion. He still absolutely dominates lobbies. And like I say, he's the best counter to Peni Parker. The only things that can really stop him are Scarlet Witch, which is why she is, again, so high up. She can just fly up and budge him to death because most Iron Man players don't know how to deal with that. Very, very strong. Iron Man, a really solid pick in the lower ranks, should I say. Mr. Fantastic is back, ladies and gentlemen. My favourite character, my guy that I've got like an 85% win rate. I had to go off of him for Season 3 and the start of Season 4 because he just got so badly done dirty. But he's back, and I'm putting him straight in the A tier. I don't care. Come for me. I literally do not care. I'm picking Mr. Fantastic probably above Magneto now. He is so, so good again. The amount of CC damage he now does. The fact that they finally fixed his cleave and now every single punch now hits. He does so much damage. He's still got his massive sustain with his puff up. If you've got the Invisible Woman, you've got the bonus health, you've got the enlarge, and now the ability to cancel it so much quicker. You can get back into normal form and start charging yourself back up again. And yeah, with the amount of people that are playing Dive right now, the amount of Magics, the amount of Daredevils, the amount of Panthers, the amount of Spidermans, he can even start to deal with characters like Iron Man and Storm because his reach is so good that if they get low enough, you can bounce up to them and knock them to the floor. So, so happy that Mr. Fantastic has had the changes that he's had. He was so, so bad for the last season, but best believe, as a Mr. Fantastic main, I'm going to be playing a lot more Mr. Fantastic over the next few weeks. I think my literal next video after this one is me back on Mr. Fantastic, so you can see how good he is again. He has to be back in the A tier minimum. I'm not going to put him in S tier because I'm still going to pick Thor or Emma ahead of him, but yeah, if they're playing Dive and you've got no one else on your team that's dealing with the dive, Mr. Fantastic is a really solid pick for that. Like, I would pick Fantastic before I pick Thing because of the ability to just keep jumping into people. Thing has got one punch into the ground to disrupt people. Mr. Fantastic now has 3 different moves that can stop people from diving. He's so, so fun again. Love having Mr. Fantastic back in the tippity top of the player base. Moonknight. Last time I put him in A tier. I'm almost tempted to put him in S tier. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him top of A tier. He's still an absolute menace. The only reason I'm putting him in A instead of S is again due to the fact that people still don't play triple support in the lower ranks. If they start playing triple support, Moonknight absolutely wrecks house. If they're playing 2 tanks, Moonknight absolutely wrecks house. He is so, so, so strong. But I just don't think I can put him in S tier right now, purely because of how people play in the lower ranks. And it's literally nothing else but that. He is still a really solid pick. Once you get into gold, I would say if this was purely like gold to platinum, I would have Moonknight right near the top of the S tier. But right now he's top of A tier, just due to how people can just sort of disperse. Moonknight's at his best when the enemy team groups up. A lot of people in lower ranks will just run off and do their own thing, which makes him a little less valuable. But the moon is so damaging. The overall output damage he does is absolutely insane. He gets that moon back so quickly as well. He's got to be minimum A tier. I just don't think he's as strong as an Iron Man or a Scarlet Witch right now in terms of actual DPS output. Namor, I'm tempted to put Namor down in B tier purely because he has now lost that Gamma Squid. But the value you can still have in Namor is still really, really strong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him at the bottom of the A tier because he's still very viable. I actually think Hela is a better pick than Namor right now because if you pick Hela, it buffs Namor. Whereas just having Namor at the moment, I don't think is enough to be valuable. Like, just having those 2 squids, sure, it's decent against dive, but it was the Gamma Squid that really did the damage. When he's got that Hela team up, these 2 as a combo is really, really, really strong right now. The damage reduction, sorry, the healing reduction from his new move is really, really good. Combo it with his ult, it's absolutely devastating. And the fact that when you've got these 2 on the field together, any kill that either of them are involved in spawning a Soul Squid is just so, so good. As a combo, like, I would say Hela Namor, the team up itself is an S tier team up, but individually right now, they're probably both around A tier. Like, it's interesting to say, like, I've put Hela in the A tier because of the Namor team up, but I've put Namor lower than Hela. Like, if your team is not running Namor, Hela's probably like B tier again, but from my experience, the moment someone picks Hela, someone else picks Namor. So I have to put Hela above Namor for that reason. So that's the way I see it. I still think Namor is A tier. I don't think he's as good without the Gamma Squid, but I still think he's very, very effective in these lower ranks. Phoenix is absolutely arse now. She is so bad. I mean, she's not Hawkeye bad. She's not Torch bad, but she's like here. Like, the nerfs that she's had are really, really bad. And quite frankly, the only value you get out of Phoenix at the moment is to counter Rocket. But people aren't going to pick Phoenix purely to counter Rocket at lower ranks. They're not interested in that. People don't even care about counter-ulting in lower ranks. So there's just no real value in Phoenix right now. Like, yes, if you do get an opposing team that's all nicely grouped up and you can still spam your shots and your explosions, you're going to get a lot of value out of her. But right now, you know, if you're going into bronze, like, she's like D tier in bronze. It's just not going to happen for her. Really, really bad nerfs to Phoenix over the course of the last few weeks. I just don't think she's a really good pick for the game right now. Psylocke, I have to put in A tier. There is no way I can't put her in A tier. Last time I think I had her in the middle of B tier. I've got to put her above Venom. I'm going to put her below Moonknight, again, due to the skill set. Like, a noob on Moonknight will do better than a noob on Psylocke, but her ult now is an absolute joke. She can one-shot defensive ults with her ult. It does that much damage. It's an absolute joke how much it does now. And of course, like with Panthers, like with Magics, you will get some Smurf Psylocks out there. It's not as common as a Smurf Magic or a Smurf Black Panther, but Psylocke is an absolute devastator. Like I said, a noob Psylocke will still get a bunch of kills just because her ult is now that strong. And because it's now that strong, she has to go in A tier. She's a real threat. She still gets the Shadow Clone Jutsu from Emma. So, yeah, you've got to have her in at least the A tier. She's a real threat. I still think her skill set is really, really difficult, but people are starting to figure it out, and more people are playing her in the lower ranks, even though they're not that good with her because of how strong her ult is. Punisher, I have to put him where I put him last time, which is middle of the A tier. He's still the best counter to flyers, in my opinion, just because you can just aim more because of the amount of damage he does. His shotgun's really good when people try and dive you. His turret is still really, really good. He's got one of the best ults in the game. He's just a really, really good pick for lower ranks. I know people tend not to use him in the lower ranks as people have come onto Marvel Rivals to maybe get away from Call of Duty or get away from Battlefield. It's supposed to be an escapism from the gun games. They want to use their superheroes, but anyone that comes into the game playing Punisher, chances are you're going to get good value. You know, against Strange, he's going to delete that shield. Against Emma, he's going to delete the shield. Against Thor, especially against a Thing or a Hulk, like, you're going to do so much damage as Punisher. And yeah, if they're playing Iron Man, which is quite a common occurrence in the lower ranks, Punisher is your best bet because he's got so many shots at him. And the chances are that Punisher will kill Iron Man before Iron Man kills Punisher. So he has to be in the consideration for the A tier. I wouldn't say he's S tier, but he's definitely up there in the A tier. Spider-Man, I'm going to put him a little bit higher than where I put him last time. Last time I put him bottom of B tier. This time I'm going to put him bottom of A tier. And it's basically, I'm actually going to put him above Namor for the exact reason that Namor has been nerfed. Because the best way of dealing with Spider-Man before was the Gamma Squid. Now that the Gamma Squid is gone, Spider-Man gets a little bit more joy in these lower ranks. He's still going to have a real tough time against Scarlet Witch, which is what most people deal with. He has a really tough time against Mr. Fantastic. Trust me, I can tell you that from experience. Spider-Man swings in. All Mr. Fantastic has to do is see him once, and Spider-Man is dead. Jump into him, punch, dead. But Spider-Man still has a lot of good value at the moment. And with the Namor nerf, you're going to see a lot more Spider-Man in the lower ranks. He still gets banned quite a bit, which I don't think is worth it. I still think banning Panther and Magic are way better bans than banning Spider-Man. But yeah, you're going to get a lot more playtime for Spider-Man over the course of the next few weeks. I still don't think he's as good. But again, like I said with Angela, if you've got a character where you need to change your team composition to deal with him, they have to be minimum in A tier, and Spider-Man is definitely a character you will have to change something about your team just to deal with him, especially in the lower ranks. Squirrel Girl. I'm very torn on Squirrel Girl because she is still an absolute devastator at times, but I didn't realise how bad they damaged her. Like, I put her in A tier because she was still causing problems, but like, she's not as good as Moonknight. She's not as good as Punisher. She's probably not even as good as Hela or Namor at the moment. Like, she's an ult waiting to happen. To be honest, I can probably put these two together. Squirrel Girl and Starlord are just an ult waiting to happen. I think it's weird, isn't it? I think Starlord is better than I thought last time. I think Squirrel Girl is worse than I thought last time. So what I'm going to do is basically group them with Blade. And just say that these three right now are all good characters that will do good damage, and then you'll get huge value out of their ults. I think there are much, much better picks than all three of these in this tier, like Moonknight, Night Fantastic, like Punisher, like Hela, like Namor, and obviously like Iron Man and Scarlet Witch. I don't think there's going to be much value in picking Squirrel Girl or Starlord, just because their skill sets... Obviously, they're completely different. Squirrel Girl is the range character. You just go ping, 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 ping. But that damage output is nowhere near as strong as it was. And you can now out-heal that damage. And then on Star-Lord's case, he's a decent dive character. But again, just go Daredevil. Just go Moon Knight. Like, pick any other character than Star-Lord that can do more damage in those situations. These two are just ults waiting to happen. When they happen, they are ridiculously good ults. I just think there are better options available than these two right now. Storm stays in A tier. I'm actually going to put Storm just below Moon Knight. Nobody plays her, and I don't know why. She's an absolute busted, broken character. The lightning sphere that she does that empowers everyone else. The lightning bolts that come down. We don't even have to aim with her. The constant damage output she does. She has one of the most broken ults in the game. The Jeff Nado is just a ridiculous team up. Like, the only reason I'm not putting her in S tier is because you just don't see her, and I don't know why you don't see her. She's such an easy character to use, but I think because she's slow, I think that's probably why. Like, if you want to play a flyer, people will just go Iron Man. If you want to cause some damage, people are just going to go Daredevil or Thor. Or it's the mobility. The fact that she has no mobility, I think, just bores people. Whereas what they should be thinking is, this character does so much damage and has got one of the most fun ults in the game. I'm absolutely picking her. So I can't put her above A tier because of that, but honestly, just play Storm. Storm's an absolute joke. Bucky, S tier. No doubt about it. I put him in A tier last time, I think. No, I put him top of B tier last time. I'm now putting him bottom of the S tier because I just didn't realise how good this character was. Even as a tank main, the amount of damage he does, the way he can ground flyers, the changes to his pull, his ult. There are just so many good things about Bucky. He doesn't have a bad move in his kit. His cooldowns aren't even that bad. He gets so much bonus health. Like, he's such an absolute nightmare to play against. You don't get many good Buckys at the lower ranks, but what I have noticed is he'll just keep doing sustained damage. Like, the difference between him and like a Hela is the hitbox. Bucky's hitbox is so forgiving. You can miss both ways and Bucky will still hit. You have to be absolutely on the money with Hela to get the shots off. So I just think Bucky is so strong right now, and I honestly think he has to be considered this good. So I'm putting him in the top of the S tier. The bottom of the S tier. Let me know if you disagree on that one. Wolverine, I just have to put him where I put him before. I'm going to put him in the C tier. I put him in the D tier before, but like I said, there's no F tier anymore. So I'm sort of amalgamating C tier and D tier from last time. I still think there's value in him. Honestly, he's there. He's worse than Torch and Phoenix. Yeah, he's better than Torch. He's better than Torch. He's not as good as Phoenix. Like, if you're trying to deal with tanks, just pick Iron Fist. And if you're not dealing with tanks, don't pick Wolverine. Like, I could almost put him in D tier, but I'm not, because he still has value when there's multiple tanks on the enemy team. He still has value in his ult. He still has value in his sustain. So I have to put him a little bit higher. But yeah, it's just not a good spot for Wolverine right now. He needs another buff. He needs to get back to where he was before. He needs to be causing havoc. It's Wolverine, for crying out loud. People want to use Wolverine like people want to use Spider-Man. He should not be as weak as he is right now. And then finally, we have some support. And we're starting off with Adam Warlock, who sadly is going to be dropping straight back into the C tier. Exactly where he was last time. And honestly, he's definitely in this bracket. I'm going to say he's a little bit better than Phoenix, but not quite as good as Groot. He's basically, again, his res is really good. His healing is decent, but with the amount of dive out there right now, unless you're running triple support, Adam is absolutely useless. Why? Again, it's Adam Warlock. This man can fly. This man is like Superman. He is an absolute freak of a character in the comics and on the TV. Why is he so weird on Marvel Rivals? He should be one of the best characters on the game. He should be like a flying tank support. He should be absolutely busted broken. He should be like a permanent S tier character. But no, they've not really done anything with him. I would love to see more from Adam Warlock, but right now I just can't put him any higher than that. Cloak and Dagger still the best support in lower ranks. I'm actually going to put Cloak and Dagger as the best character in the lower ranks right now. She just is. You just pick Cloak and Dagger. The amount of people that still just disperse all over the place, where you can keep spamming the daggers to heal them. The ult is really, really strong. People in lower ranks don't know how to deal with the ult. Yes, you've got the Mag ult and you've got the Iron Man ult, but it just doesn't happen in lower ranks. The amount of damage that Cloak does is absolutely insane. Again, if you're playing against Dive, if you're playing against Magic, you're playing against Panther, you're playing against Daredevil, Cloak and Dagger is your best bet, because you've got the ability to bubble yourself, the ability to change to Cloak and do the Dark Pulse, and then do the normal move. If you're playing Cloak and Dagger and Scarlet Witch, Dive is basically not an issue, because you two can just stay together and just go, no, we're just going to buzz you both to death. And then, yeah, Cloak and Dagger, strongest character in lower ranks right now. Invis, also very, very strong. She's definitely in the S tier as well. I am going to put her just after the Witch. I think Witch is still a little bit more valuable, but Invis, very, very strong. Really good ult, really good moveset. The ability to heal multiple people at once is very, very valuable. Don't really think I need to say too much more about her. She's been nerfed a little bit in regards to the fact that Daredevil can see her when she's invisible, but her ability to then stun him and keep him at bay, still really, really strong. Really like Invisible Woman at the moment. She is a very, very strong character. Jeff the Land Shark, also in the S tier. I'm actually going to put Jeff just about here, just above Thor, because again, his ability to just sustain fights, to keep your tanks alive, to even help your divers at the other end of the map, to be able to do that healing pool. Yes, people will continue to throw with Jeff's ult, but if you're smart, just honestly, if you're a Jeff player that's going, I can't get any value out of my ults, just listen to this right now. Do your ult, swim backwards, and swallow no one. Just do that. Don't worry about trying to get kills. The chances are you're at the back of the pack anyway, because you're just using your stream to heal and damage everyone in front of you. Use your ult just to keep yourself alive and to keep some of your teammates alive. Don't worry about going for kills. Just stay back. Keep yourself in the fight. Jeff the Land Shark, absolutely love how good he is right now. Loki is absolutely tragic. I put him in C tier before. I'm putting him in D tier now. I'm actually putting him in D tier. He's still better than Black Widow, because at least he does healing. But why would you pick him? Like, literally, you will get more value out of Hawkeye than you'll get out of Loki. Because, especially in lower ranks as well, people don't know how to aim. People, when they pick Loki in lower ranks, will copy DPS ults rather than copying support ults. There is just no value in picking Loki whatsoever when the other healers in the game are so strong right now. Speaking of strong healers, obviously you've got Luna Snow. Last time I put her in the top of B tier. That was a mistake. I'm going to put her in the bottom of the A tier. She is more valuable than them. That's it. She's still not as good as Invis. She's not as good as Cloak and Dagger. And again, it's just down to aim. Nothing else. She's still ridiculously strong. She's still S tier in the higher ranks. But you have to be skilled as a player to get value out of Luna. You have to know when to clap, you have to know when to freeze, you have to hit your shots. Whereas if you just pick Invis, or you just pick Cloak and Dagger, or you just pick Jeff, you're going to do more than what you're going to do as Luna. She's still really, really strong. Just as a low-skill player, you're going to do better with Cloak and Dagger and Jeff and Invis. So I can't put her as high as them because you're just not going to get the value out of her that you would out of the others. Mantis, I'm going to put a little bit higher. I'm going to put Mantis at the top of B tier. Again, I know she's S tier at the higher ranks, but again, people don't know how to use her. Actually, no, I can't put her above these four, sorry. I can't put her above these four purely because, again, the amount of damage these three do with their ults and how good Iron Fist is in certain situations. Mantis has a good ult, but it's not as good as Luna's. It's not as good as Jeff's, Cloak and Daggers, or Invis's. But people are starting to get used to the idea of empowering people and knowing when to put people to sleep. But it's a skill-based character once again. To get your leaves back, you have to keep hitting headshots. People in the lower ranks can't do that. People in lower ranks will just overuse those leaves so quickly that you don't get much value out of Mantis. I put her in the bottom of C tier last time. She's definitely better than that, but I still can't put her any higher than B tier because the skill set just isn't there right now. Rocket is going back up into the S tier after the buff. He's an absolute joke. It seems only fitting that I put him next to Penny. It's going to be a bit annoying that those two are going to be split like that. Let's see what we can do. Let's move Penny above Invis. And let's actually put Rocket above Invis. These are very interchangeable. The reason why Rocket is now an S tier. First, I've already mentioned it. 40% damage buff from the amplifier now is absolutely insane, considering the fact that you still now get the overheal. Before, it was just a 40% boost and nothing else. Then it became 25% damage and the overshield. Now you get 40% damage buff and the overshield, which is absolutely insane. And because Phoenix has been nerfed into the ground, nobody's playing Phoenix, so nobody's countering the Rocket ult. And because of the amount of dive characters like Daredevil, like Magic, like Panther, and even like Thor or Angela, Rocket is the best at evading. He can move around, he can jitter, he can get away. And he's then got the res as well with his BRB. That's really useful. And he's still got his constant sustain healing. Just stay out of the way. Dush, 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 dush. Really, really good. I'm so happy that Rocket is back. I had him in B tier last time just because of the amount of people that played Phoenix. Now Phoenix is gone. Now that Rocket's been buffed. Now that Penny is so dominant, well, still so dominant, these two as a pairing absolutely have to be in the S tier. And then finally Ultron, who is just staying in the bottom of C tier. He is less, he's better than Torch. That's it. Like, people don't play triple support. You have to use Ultron in triple support, otherwise it's absolutely pointless. Still decent in terms of the fact that he's just like a second Iron Man, but his healing is absolutely tragic. His change to his ult has made it so he doesn't even get that very often anymore. Just why would you pick Ultron other than because you've got an Iron Man on your team and you've got two other healers? Like that, those are the conditions. To play Ultron, you must have Iron Man and two other healers. Otherwise, you are throwing. With that being said, still more valuable than these other characters because of in those scenarios he can be effective. But there are so few scenarios where Torch, Thing, Hawkeye, Loki, and Widow are usable. I still have to put him higher than them. But yeah, it's just not a good spot for Ultron right now. And there you go. Do you agree or disagree? What most of you will be thinking is, wow, you've put an awful lot of characters in S tier and an awful lot of characters in A tier. The reason for that is the game's in a really good spot. Like, there are so many good, viable characters right now that you can go into a game with completely different team compositions. Like, how many people have actually put in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 25, 20, 26 characters. That's more than half. More than half of the characters are in the top two tiers. That is because you have that much flexibility right now. And like I said, this is just in lower ranks. This isn't in high level. This is someone that if you're new to the game or you're trying to get out of the lower ranks, all of these characters are available to you. And even then, Squirrel Girl, Starlord, Blade, Mantis, Cap, Hulk, these are all also really effective picks as well. I just don't think they're as effective as the ones I've put in S and A tier. There are so many good usable characters in the lower ranks right now. Realistically, you've got no excuse for not progressing. The game is very forgiving in regards to the fact that it does allow you to progress pretty quickly. So pick a character from these lists, get grinding, get going, have some fun out there as well, because this is a really, really good game right now. I really do enjoy the current setup of the game, and it's having a real good spot right now. So, as always, let me know down in the comment section, do you agree or disagree with any of the rankings that I put in this video? As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you for Season 5's tier list in a few weeks' time.